They panic the moment they realize you're no longer theirs to manipulate. You've changed. You stopped bending. You stopped justifying. You stopped giving them the power to dictate your emotions. And suddenly, the dynamic shifts. What used to be subtle control becomes erratic, confusing, and sometimes outright hostile. You might be feeling anger, confusion, or even guilt for noticing it. You wonder if you did something wrong, if you're overreacting, or if they're really as toxic as your instincts tell you. By the end of this, you'll see exactly what toxic people do when they lose control. You'll understand their tactics. You'll know how to respond without losing yourself. And most importantly, you'll reclaim your emotional power. Toxic people rely on control because it gives them validation. It feeds their ego. It makes them feel superior, important, and safe. When that control slips away, they feel threatened. Not physically, but psychologically. And that's where their behavior changes. The first pattern is sudden withdrawal. They stop calling, messaging, or including you. It's confusing. After weeks or months of manipulation, you suddenly feel invisible. This is their way of testing your reaction. They want to see if you'll chase them, apologize, or beg for attention. Mini takeaway: silence is a weapon. The second pattern is unexpected aggression. They may lash out over small things you used to brush off, comments, jokes, or critiques that sting more than before. It's not about the situation, it's about regaining the sense of power they've lost. You may feel anxious, overly defensive, or drained. That's exactly what they intend. Most people miss this because they think aggression is situational stress. It's easy to blame external factors. But when the behavior coincides with your emotional independence, it's no accident. You're being targeted for asserting yourself, not for any mistake you made. The third pattern is manipulation through guilt. They suddenly remind you of favors, old mistakes, or sacrifices they claim to have made. They want to make you feel indebted. They want you to question your choice to disengage. You feel torn, responsible, and sometimes ashamed. And this is where most people make the biggest mistake. They apologize. They explain. They over-justify themselves. Every word you offer gives them renewed control. Even if they never wanted an explanation, they'll use it to manipulate again. The fourth pattern is smear campaigns. They may speak to mutual friends, colleagues, or family, twisting the story to make you appear unreasonable, angry, or unstable. They want to isolate you. They want to ensure that no one else validates your perspective. The fifth pattern is hoovering. This is when they suddenly return, offering apologies, flattery, or promises they never kept. It feels confusing. You might be tempted to forgive or give in. This is their last attempt to regain control. It's not genuine, it's strategic. Recognizing these patterns is crucial. It allows you to detach emotionally. It prevents you from being sucked back into chaos. It gives you clarity, and clarity is power. The common mistake is reacting emotionally. You want to defend yourself. You want to argue. You want to prove your perspective is valid. Every reaction feeds the toxic person's need for validation. They thrive on chaos and emotional responses. The power shift is simple but profound. Observe without reacting. Maintain your boundaries. Limit engagement to what is necessary. Document interactions if you feel unsafe. Respond calmly without over-explaining. Your silence and consistency strip them of their power. Another layer of control is emotional consistency. When you respond with calm, they have nothing to exploit. They may escalate, but it loses effect. You become unshakable. You move from reaction to observation, and observation is where freedom begins. Identity shift: you are no longer the person they can control. You are grounded, clear, and emotionally autonomous. Your value does not depend on their approval. Your self-worth is independent. This is a profound shift because they can no longer dictate your reality. Toxic people will try indirect methods too. They may create workplace tension, spread rumors, or attempt to turn others against you. They hope to isolate you further. By staying emotionally detached and maintaining clear boundaries, you protect yourself. You neutralize their influence. Notice patterns in their timing. Aggression often appears after your successes. Withdrawal may happen when you assert boundaries. Guilt tactics emerge when you show independence. Hoovering occurs when they sense you've moved on. Each action is reactive to your autonomy. This perspective changes your approach completely. Instead of being caught in emotional chaos, you predict their moves. You prepare. You respond deliberately, and you protect your mental space. You also reclaim your energy. You stop investing in manipulation. You stop trying to change someone who thrives on control. Your focus returns to what matters: your work, your relationships, and your growth. The deeper truth is that toxic people fear empowered individuals. You don't have to fight them. You don't have to argue or prove your point. Your independence is their trigger. Your calm is your weapon. When you observe without reacting, they lose influence. When you maintain boundaries, they cannot invade your space. When you stay consistent, their attempts at manipulation become obvious to everyone, including themselves. Another important element is emotional detachment, not indifference. Detachment allows you to respond logically. It allows you to choose your battles. It allows you to maintain dignity. Indifference is passive. Detachment is active control. This approach also rewires your instincts. You start to see manipulation before it lands. You start to identify gaslighting, guilt tactics, and emotional blackmail. You no longer question your judgment. You trust your perception. And here's a key insight. Toxic people escalate when they lose control. But escalation is predictable. It's a sign you're doing the right thing. Your calm is disarming. Your boundaries are reducing their power. Your observation is turning their strategy against them. Support systems amplify your power. Allies, friends, or mentors who validate your experience reduce isolation. They give perspective. They reinforce your reality. They strengthen your emotional resilience. Ultimately, the goal is not to defeat the toxic person. It's to protect your mental and emotional space. It's to navigate their behavior without losing yourself. It's to operate from clarity, not fear. The final shift is internal. You understand that their actions reflect their issues, not your value. You are competent, worthy, and deserving of respect. Their manipulation is a reflection of their needs, not a reflection of your worth. Once you internalize this, every interaction becomes manageable. Every tactic loses its grip. You are free to act, choose, and grow without being hijacked by someone else's chaos. And that freedom feels profound. You regain control over your emotions. Your energy returns to what matters. Your focus shifts from surviving manipulation to thriving in your life. This clarity transforms your identity. You are no longer reactive. You are not defensive. You are not anxious. You are grounded, calm, and strategically powerful. You begin to see toxic patterns everywhere, but you respond differently. You observe, you protect, you maintain boundaries. You don't fight for their approval. And the most important realization is this: their panic is proof of your strength. When they lose control, it shows that your independence cannot be dictated. Your calmness, boundaries, and clarity are unassailable. You no longer give them fuel. You no longer justify yourself. You no longer question your worth. You act with intentionality. You operate from power, not fear. And that is the real victory. Not confrontation, not revenge, but complete psychological and emotional autonomy. You have regained yourself. You have reclaimed your space, and you will never let anyone manipulate you into chaos again. This is what freedom looks like under pressure. This is what power looks like when you refuse to be controlled. And this is how you survive, thrive, and remain unshakable in the presence of toxic people.